everybody, just got done watching 2001's Jackie, Ethel, Joan, The Women of Camelot. This is a made-for-TV movie. It's a two-parter starring Lauren Holly, Jill Hennessy and Leslie Stephenson. Each part is an hour and 20 minutes long, and I've only actually seen it once before, but I do not remember much about the first time I watched it. But it's an interesting take on the Kennedy family, because it tells like the story, like a 2-decade-long story from John F. Kennedy's kind of election and inauguration into the White House through to 1979 when Ted Kennedy pulled out for his kind of presidential campaign, because it's told from the wives' perspective of JFK, Bobby Kennedy and Ted Kennedy. And, you know, so many of these films, I mean, it's funny because I watched Bobby literally only like a dozen movies ago or so. So many of these movies, they cover like the assassination of, be it JFK or Bobby Kennedy, and they tell it like they showed what happened, and then they show like the public outcry and that's about it. Whereas this has a much more emotional impact in that it follows the actual Kennedy family, the wives, the children, Grandma and Grandpa Kennedy, and although it feels like a TV movie, I mean it does in the quality of the film stock and even the music. So much of the music is very TV movie-ish, but it's still enjoyable. You still, because you're watching, I mean, my only real problem I think with it, certainly in the first part, was because it was showing like the wives meeting each other for the first time and getting to know each other as they married each of the brothers. There was like these flashbacks, and it would say what the date of the flashback was to, but sometimes it wasn't always obvious when the time had skipped back to like the version of present day. So that got a little confusing even at times. But it's still, like I say, even though it's a TV movie and you know they're playing for that schmaltzy kind of thing, you do get a lot more invested in it. You do feel that kind of, I can imagine if I was an American I would feel so much more patriotic, because it does get you right there. And there are brilliant performances. Lauren Holly, who I've enjoyed seeing in stuff, particularly NCIS, she plays Ethel, this kind of strong-willed, you know, wanting to get into the White House and driving Bobby and stuff. She played that role so convincingly. I completely forgot her other characters. I don't know what it was, because it's not that she's not played strong characters before, but I think just the twang and the accent that she was doing and stuff, it made it more convincing. But Jill Hennessy as Jackie Kennedy, she was brilliant, because then you see her, even after you see the bonds that these three women made, you know, for all the trouble and strife and the affairs and the accidents and the assassinations and that, you know, even when Jackie Kennedy, say, went off and then married Aristotle Onassis, you see, like, should there be a problem with the family, even when they've fallen out, she still rushes back to them to be with them. And I don't know how much of that was true, but as a viewer of this movie, you feel a part of that unit. And like I say, everybody acts it so well. It's very convincing, and you do feel a part of that. Other than my nitpick about the kind of time jumping in the first part, I think my only other problem would be the second one, The second part tends to lag a bit after the assassination of Bobby Kennedy. You have a bit following Ethel, but then it seems to not know what to do, because then it's following like the aftermath, and then it's following some of the problems with Ted Kennedy and his wife Joan, as she goes through alcoholism and stuff like that. And I don't know, I get, the thing is, there was still a story there to be told, but it kind of felt like the storytellers had not known, they had the two main historic events, and then they didn't know how to continue from there. I'm not saying the rest of it's bad, I'm just saying the last, what is it, 45 minutes, I think? I think Bobby Kennedy's assassination happens by midpoint in the second part. The first part ends with JFK's assassination. So the second part is a lot more plotty in a way, but certainly the last half is really, just feels like it's struggling, and that's kind of sad because you do feel invested otherwise, but that doesn't mean to say it's bad. If you are into these kind of historic movies, especially regarding the Kennedy family, I do highly recommend this, because like I say, it is a good, different perspective on the events of what was happening back in, from 1960 onwards. It's really engrossing. In a way, it kind of has chick flick tendencies, but I can't imagine the guys having too much problems with this. It doesn't get to, I think because it follows these three strong women, it could be difficult for men to construe it as something that they would want to watch, but it is definitely worth checking out. So if you like these kind of, like I say, kind of historic stories and stuff, and good dramas, then I definitely recommend Jackie, Ethel, Joan, The Women of Camelot. That was tonight's movie. We'll be back again tomorrow, but for now, this is Sketch, signing out.